Hi everyone, and welcome to this Stage 4 betting preview of the 2020 Tour de France. Well, I did say it right up at the front of my outright preview that cycling betting can make you look foolish sometimes, and wow, it certainly did that to me yesterday. Fortunately, I didn't get too involved, but I really thought the stage would be raced hard. As it happened, a small break got away early, and the peloton pretty much soft-pedaled until the last 20 kilometers when we finally got some action. At the end of the day, it was Caleb Ewan who came with an amazing sprint at the end to beat Sam Bennett, who looked a winner all over with about 100 meters to go. Of course, I had Sam Bennett in a match bet over Ewan, so I was hoping the stage was raced hard. That wasn't good news for me when he came wheezing through. It was absolutely, it was an amazing performance, and he's no doubt the fastest man in the race. Third place, another solid performance from Nizzolo, and then quite an interesting one here, the Israel Startup Nation's Hugo Hofstede. I never had him on my shortlist, I can tell you, and he ran into fourth. So no joy for me on yesterday's stage. It certainly, from an entertainment point of view, is one which I was quite pleased that I wasn't able to watch the whole stage. Let's move on to stage number 4, and this is going to be interesting because we're in stage 4 and we've already got our first summit finish. Now, it's not the toughest climb here. We're going to see 7.1 kilometers at 6.7%, but it's tough enough to do some damage and certainly tough enough to show if there's any signs of weakness amongst any of the GC men we expect to be contending. Perhaps just before that, let's go have a look at the outright betting. And obviously, very little change from yesterday. We got Primož Roglic here at WSB 2-1, Bernal 5-2, and then they do in the mornings. WSB seem to really stretch their prices, so that's the time to get on if you're wanting to get an outright interest. Tom Dumoulin 10s, Pinot 12, Alaphilippe 18. Going to be interesting to see if he shortens, if he manages to hang on to the yellow jersey. I'm well documented as saying Alaphilippe cannot win this Tour de France unless, of course, it stopped early due to COVID-19 or something like that. Pogacar, he's 18-1, and then Carapaz 20s. You can get 28-1 and better the balance. Back to the route, and we've got a fairly straightforward start here. We've got the sprint coming after 51 kilometers. Will they try and keep it together for the sprint finish, or will we get a situation where the likes of Peter Sagan and Matteo Trentin actually go into the break and contest the sprint finish from the break? We then have a Cat 3 climb, 7.6 kilometers at 5.3%, and assuming things stay together till the break, this is where the proper break will then go. On this climb, it's quite tough one. It's not going to be that easy to control. However, I do expect that Quick Step, the team of the leader, are going to be able to ensure that no one who's in contention for the yellow jersey goes into the break. So I'm expecting some decent climbers, guys like Demarchi, to get into the break, but not, for example, Yates. I think a Yates, who's obviously sitting in second at the moment, he would have to wait until the final climb and potentially beat the favorites there. Yesterday, I said the break would stick. I was 100% wrong on that. Today, well, I think the break's got a chance, but I'm going for the fact that Jumbo-Visma are going to work at the front to the base of the climb, and then certainly all the way up with the intention of possibly releasing Roglic in the last kilometer. And I think the break will be caught today. I don't think it's going to be given too much freedom. And I think we're going to get a pretty exciting stage, fought out amongst the GC men. A couple of other Cat climbs there, nothing too heavy, but it's certainly enough to soften up the legs. And you can see by this profile, although the final climb is really what they'll all be targeting, it's certainly not an easy run-in. And we're going to have some pretty tired guys by the end. The stage is 160.5 kilometers, fairly short by Tour de France standards. Let's have a look at the betting for the stage now. And we've got Primož Roglic at 6-1 with Julian Alaphilippe at 13-2. Now, Alaphilippe, of course, is well capable of winning a stage like this. Certainly, if he's got his legs of 2019, he must be a big contender. He'll be able to ride defensively, and this is assuming, of course, that the break is caught. He'll have every chance of sprinting clear in the last 500 meters or so to win on this uphill sprint. Of course, his biggest rival then will be the favorite, Roglic, who's also strong there. And Adam Yates, he might try to go a little bit earlier, but he's also capable of winning a sprint. We saw him and Alaphilippe do battle for those time seconds on stage 2. So, Yates is looking very good. He's definitely one for the shortlist for the stage. He's on offer at 9-1. And Pogacar, I'll probably pronounce his name different every time. Well, he's at 12-1 for the win. You'll see my staking plan. I am including him. And you can get 14-1 and better the balance. There are, of course, match bets. I'll just pop onto World Sports Betting here. I have put together a match bet treble. And I'm also taking what I would consider my first big gamble of the tour. You know, I often say bet responsibly and don't go crazy in Cape Town. Cape Town, don't know where I'm coming with that. Don't go crazy in cycling betting. But today I'm going to do something a little bit reckless. So we'll see. Today could be quite important for my Tour de France. let's get onto the betting then, and I'm going to bring up my staking plan and we'll talk through this quickly. Still battle with a mouse here with the two monitors I've got going. Right, stage 4 Tour de France bets. I'm going half a unit Lopez to podium, 10-1 at Sunbet. Now, Lopez is largely unthought of in the betting at the moment, but I fancy his chances today. He's got quite a punchy finish when he wants, and he's also the sort of rider who's not afraid to lay it down and attack. So assuming that all the GC guys are approaching the final kilometers together, I wouldn't be surprised to see Lopez make a move. I'm going for him to podium at 10-1. I think it's a cracking price. I'm going for my man Pogacar. I've been on him so many times. I'm on him in the long term. I've been on a couple of match bets with him. He really is looking good, and he's looking like someone who wouldn't mind getting the yellow jersey. Now you'll see I've taken 11-1 at WSB. So I've taken a point shorter than I could have got at Sunbet there, but that's purely because of the World Sports Betting special that I put up at the start of the show, and that's if you back any rider to win any Tour de France stage, and if your selection doesn't win but comes second, we'll refund your stake as a free bet. So I thought about it. At a certain price, it doesn't become worthwhile, but half a unit cycling terms for me is still worthwhile to try and get back and have another go tomorrow should he run a second. We've got Tom Dumoulin. I've put him down for the win at 40-1. The scenario I'm looking at here is potentially someone attacks with a couple of kilometers to go, and Dumoulin plays the role of teammate and goes with and ends up potentially winning the stage. So I think he's quite suited by this final climb. It hasn't been the hardest stage, not like we've had multiple climbs before that. And I was quite impressed by the way he rode back to the peloton the other day after having his fall. So just a bit of a speculative play there. You see, I'm not going too crazy on the win markets. And then I've got a 38-10 accumulator here in the match bets. I've got Nairo Quintana to beat Buchmann. I just feel that Buchmann might be worth taking on at this point. We're still not sure how he is after his crash. And I thought the even money Quintana there was a decent price. Roger, he's 4-10 against Pinot. Also, Pinot's had the crash as well. I don't see him living with Roger on the final stretch, although he certainly does have a good sprint on him as well. And then finally, I just threw in something to up the price. Bardet over Uran. I'm expecting a decent ride from Romain Bardet today. So that's 38-10. But here's my, if I could call it slightly reckless bet, I'm going 5 units. Now, you can see I normally bet half a unit, quarter of a unit, maybe 1 unit. I'm going 5 units on De Marquis over De Gent at 11-20 at Sunbet. My feeling is that De Gent, he may try get into the break, but I've got a feeling that De Gent doesn't have the best of legs. And I also think there's a job of work for him to do tomorrow for Caleb Ewan if they want to get Ewan to have a chance on that final climb. Well, it's not really a climb, but a final rising finish. The legs Ewan showed yesterday, I've got to think that they're going to have a go, and I think De Gent may have some work to do, so I expect him to take the day off. De Marquis, I expect to get in the break. I do expect the break to be caught, but I'm going 5 units there. Now, if you're watching the show for the first time, don't get too carried away and follow me here. Every now and again in cycling, I do place the odd reckless bet, and I'd rather stick to my original advice and go easy, but I'm going for a big one today. I want some excitement, and I want to get back into positive figures. So 5 units, De Marquis over De Gent at 11-20 at Sunbet. That's it for this preview. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you go down below and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Don't miss any of our previews. And, of course, Thursday night, 9 o'clock, for all of you rugby fans, we've got the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. That's a live show that goes out 9 o'clock South African time. Don't miss it. There's also some links in the description box below. Good for the Game forum posters post their bets every day on the stage. You can see the link there, and also the link to our Tour de France newsletter in the description box below. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy what should be a good stage, and come on, De Marquis, you good thing.